All right. I think, yep, we're live.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Season 6, episode 10.
10. Wow. I'll take your word for
Hello.
it. Hello.
And do we have anybody watching it? It says 2 people.
That reminded me of the Pink Floyd song from The Wall. So,
Hello.
yeah, thought you might like to go to the show.
Hello. Is there anyone out there?
Out there. That's such a classic album.
Just nod if you can hear me. So, how's everybody doing out there tonight?
I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah. It's been a crazy week, and I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my week is going to get exciting tomorrow. I got to go to Wyoming tomorrow.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. I'll be driving right by your house.
Oh, I'll wave to you. Cool.
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
My brother's truck broke down 2 weeks ago, and he had to get a new, this brand new Titan. The engine, he said the computer on board was not feeding the correct information, and the oil pump wasn't feeding oil to the rest of the engine, and blew up.
Okay. Well, that's not good.
No.
Was it warranted then, or what?
Oh yeah, it's a brand new truck. It's only like.
Why do you got to do anything for that?
Well, it's out there in Wyoming. He lives in Iowa City, so.
Oh, the truck's in Wyoming.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were getting parts or something. I'm like, why do you have to do that? That's called warranty.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when my car got fixed during the pandemic last year.
Mm-hmm.
They got the transmission out of Canada. It was one of the last ones in North America.
Oh man, collectors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough back then.
So we're driving out there to pick his car up, our truck up, and then we'll drive back Saturday.
Okay. You picking it up or you're hauling it back? You're driving. It's ready to go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be fun to see. The weather's supposed to be nice, I think, right?
Yeah, it's we got this front rolling through tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Evening, afternoon, something.
Yeah, I think the
falling temperatures. Yeah. Yep. Tomorrow during the day it's supposed to get colder.
Yeah,
not what I like.
We got a chance of tornadoes.
Oh,
they're saying we got a 15% chance of tornadoes tomorrow.
Yeah, you just sent me those pictures.
Some people say, "Oh, only 15%." That is the extremely bad number.
Yeah. How do you feel lucky?
You got a 15% chance of having a tornado in, I think it's a 20 square mile radius or area.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah, it's 20 or 30 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very small area when you think about it. So
yep.
It's like 5 mile by 5 mile by 5 mile section. You have a 15% chance of having a tornado.
I've only seen 2 tornadoes in my life, and they were F1s that were way off in the distance. You could see it. I mean, like 18 or 20 miles away.
That over by the farm, or?
Yeah, out on the farm.
Yeah.
But
I've been in a couple myself. But.
I tried we got a couple people join, at least on the chat.
Oh, Clark. Very silent mouse.
Yeah. Hello.
Whoa, yeah.
Howdy, Clark. Nice. And morning, yes. It's evening, so your morning, our evening. So, yeah, it's like I was in a tornado that hit when we lived in Minnesota.
Oh,
and we had 40 acres of woods between us and our neighbors on their farm. And when the storm rolled through, I remember it was like 4th of July night. We went to the fireworks, watched the fireworks, came home, and it was watching, it's like in the distance while we were watching the fireworks, you could see flashes, a storm building heading east. And we got home that night, everybody crashed basically, and I was just downstairs watching some TV, and we had this big window that's facing to the south side. And the wind started picking up. You hear the lightning and everything, and the wind started going really strong. And we had this clump of birches that were right outside the window. You could see them. They were like this big, pretty big. And I just watched them go flat.
Yeah.
And it was like, I yelled tornado. Everybody was like, whoa. And it was like, rushed to the basement. And the next morning, it was clear sky. It was like 50 degrees because a cold front rolled through.
Yeah.
And you could see the neighbor's place.
Wow.
We had trees. We had big, giant, massive trees, that you couldn't get your arms around. Were lifted, ripped out of the ground, and were like hundreds of yards out in the middle of an open field.
That takes some power.
Yeah, that was probably like an EF5.
Well,
looks like Brad's in the house. Hello, Brad.
Yeah.
Howdy, Brad. I said we had a show tonight. So
venison tacos for dinner. Huh. I'll be right over.
Venison chili, venison tacos, venison stew. Venison stew and venison chili are two things we ate a lot of. And venison sausage. All right, so what's your drink and update for the night there, Palmer?
For me, I'll be happy to say that I've painted once between now and the last show. So it wasn't none.
Wow.
Wow. And my goal, I've decided tonight, is that I'm going to paint at least twice between now and the next show. To try to, maybe more, but I'm going to at least try to paint twice. But as far as an update goes, like I'm still working on the Dragon Ogres. I am sort of pre-highlighting now before I do a wash on the body. I have most of the, if not just about all of the base painting done. I haven't done the base, like it's base painting, but no, not the base. But and then and so I'm doing that. I had played a game of Warhammer Fantasy since the last show, and I'm actually playing one on Saturday too. And I should be playing one next week as well. So, and actually 2 different opponents. So that's actually good. Nice. And so that was good. My Beastmen have been doing well, actually, but really close games against Orcs and Goblins mostly. And I'm expecting probably tomorrow, on this weekend, it'll probably be Wood Elves that I'll be going against. But that's been good. Hoping to get these Dragon Ogres into the fray soon to try some different things. And that, I guess, is mostly about it. Trying to think. I've been thinking a lot about my Warhammer Apocalypse with like the epic miniatures that I was 3D printing and wanting to try to kind of maybe steer towards that at one point. And then I've been thinking a lot about French Indian Wargaming and the Samurai Wargaming, stuff. But I'm probably thinking about a project, French Indian War painting project soon, and maybe some of the Samurai stuff soon. Maybe take a little bit of a break from Warhammer Fantasy after this and switch to something else. But beyond that, that's mainly it. Life has been really busy. Oh, I have to finish. I pretty much have finished. I have to ink my Marvel guys. I never did finish these. And so actually, maybe I'll show this real quick. Yeah, that's in his miniature form. Miniature. His real miniature form. Yeah.
Miniature.
This is Ant-Man. And actually, I do kind of like my interpretation of the original color scheme with the modern sculpt. Like, so basically he's not, original, but he's all mostly red and 2 different colors of red to make it interesting. And so I really like that. And then I've got him here too in his miniature form. And then I do have to paint still the wings. So the wings are not ready, but I have the Wasp as well, inspired by the original Wasp from the old comic from like the 70s with a miniature Wasp. And I definitely want to actually finish these guys and get on to doing another comic book character. I do like painting the Marvel minis. They're really a lot of fun. And so that I'm looking forward to doing. I I might finish those up when I finish the Dragon Gorpers before I do anything else, because they're just sitting there. They need to be done. They're like out of sight, out of mind at the moment. And so as far as drink of the night, I'm actually just kind of taking it easy and just having a Moose Head Lager. Nothing, no hard stuff tonight. I was gonna pull out a mead tonight and open a bottle, but I was really pressed for time. And so I decided to just
go with that.
Go with beer. Yeah.
Beer.
So,
lager.
Yeah. Beer. So yeah, that's it for me. I don't really have much else going on. So
Dan.
Hey. Well, this week was super busy with my work. So I can get tons done, but I have been doing some. I'm still working on the got this regiment of up there of Perry.
Okay. Nice.
Those are Perry's, huh?
Yeah, they're Perry's. These are the ones that I got that were sort of painted. They needed repaired. They weren't based. And then I went through basically and neatened up the paint jobs, put highlights on, redid all the skin, add the buttons, and just did a lot more just kind of to bring it in line with what my kind of my paint level is right now. And so tonight I'm hoping to get the dry brush, finish up the bases as far as I glue sand on them and then paint them and do a couple layers of dry brushing and then paint the rims, and then I'll add some flocking to match up with the rest of my AWI. And then I also this week have been doing a little bit of gluing together some more. Rusty, you'll recognize these. These are the Wargames Factory.
Oh, yeah.
Got these in the Liberty or Death box set. And so I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of them glued together, getting a regiment of 24 to do my first British regiment for the AWI. Still nice. Really enthused with working on that. And then I have also kind of the other side project I think I'm planning to be working on through the summer is I bought in a bunch of resin buildings for my Stalingrad table for bolt action, and which I'd gotten that one done I showed last time, I think. And I've got a couple more that I'm getting glued together and based and washed and kind of ready to then start painting on that too. So, but yeah, so still making a little bit of progress. But yeah, I finally finished up I got my last baby lambs this week. I'm still going out at midnight and 6 a.m. to bottle feed and getting everybody started and stuff. I mean, it's sort of like with kids, just once the child is born doesn't mean the work is over.
Yeah.
It ramps up yet. And then, yeah, so that's been busy, but yeah, but I'm still squeezing in a little bit of hobby and not playing any games, but having a lot of fun painting still. So and I'm doing water. I had a rum and Coke with my wife earlier this evening and before we watched some Netflix before I came on here. So nice. That's me.
All right.
My wife, I may have mentioned to you guys before, my wife's a vet, and she actually, I told her about your lambing, and when she was in school, I guess she had to do that, and she said that you would volunteer whether you wanted to do the late shift for that, because we talked about how you were doing that right after the show.
Yeah,
it was late, and so she always volunteered for it because she likes lambs, and so.
I've got one in the basement right now. You might hear it at some point here because it'll get fed again at midnight, but it's only a couple 3 pounds. It was a quad, a small one of a quad family. And
the runt of the litter, huh?
Yeah, but it is just the sweetest little heart. It's healthy and runs around and just loves to snuggle in. It's just like a little, yes, it melts your heart. Those little shits. But
is that Dan's stomach? No. It's just a lamb.
No, yeah. So if you hear a little cry in the background, especially as we get later, yes. It'll hear me talking. And it'll think it's time to eat. So
feed me.
Yeah. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah. Well, let's see, do this. I never did get around to most action I did was make a video for my Thoughts from the Inner Sphere video. So I need to work on making a video on these guys. I don't know if you can see those very well.
Oh, yeah. Did you post some pictures on the Musty Wargamers?
Yeah, there's, if you remember the Musty Wargamers, I did that much effort of putting a video, pictures up of my Kellhounds here. So
nice.
Got 12 vehicles and 7 mechs.
Oh, nice.
Added to the fray. So I got those done off the table. And since I got the resin printer, I've been doing a wee bit of printing.
A wee bit. Well said.
It's much easier to print than it is to paint.
Yeah.
I know that's just like the lead pile.
Yeah, it's like I have a plan for these guys, and I have a bag of, there's 40 Chaos Dwarfs in here. So,
oh, man.
Nice.
I shared a picture of the when they were still sitting on the, like you got little guys. They're small.
Oh, that's awesome. Who makes the STLs for that? Is that
Lost Kingdom?
Yeah, Lost Kingdom. Yep. Are those your first Lost Kingdom?
Yeah, the first ones I printed out myself.
What do you think? And then how's the scaling? Did you like it first shot or?
Yeah, they seem to be right on for scaling. I have like some of the bull centaurs from them also that I bought that somebody had printed out and were selling not the files but the actual miniatures. I had some of those, and they're large. They are on scale with the when Forge World was doing their Chaos Bull Centaurs.
Oh, okay.
So they scale right up with them. And they obviously were like, okay, this is what Forge World has for scaling. They made it exactly.
Well, that's nice.
So when you buy the STL, all you do is just print. You just have to make sure you put your struts on them so they print out if need be. So you're good to go there.
Yeah, I've heard people have good experience with Lost Kingdom stuff.
Yeah, it's like they have some really fantastic looking models. They put some effort into them. And I'll be buying some more of them, the Chaos Dwarf stuff eventually.
If you don't mind me asking, like, so what did you purchase? Did you purchase like everything you need to make the army? And then like, how much is that?
I just bought 3 I bought 2 Chaos, the Command STL for the and then the Infernal Guard with the guys with the blunderbusses muskets.
Okay. I didn't know if they had like collections, like you could buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if they actually have a physical collection.
Okay.
I think you have to buy them individually.
You piece it together how you want. Okay.
Yeah. A la carte.
That's cool.
And then I printed those out, and I was also, I'll show you the other project I printed out. It's all printed out, and I started painting it. But now I'm started painting or printing out mechs. This is the very first mech that came out, and it's really
baby
small.
One.
It's like, this is like the ones I got were like Mech Force scale. Like, well, that doesn't scale very well. And it's like, I scaled it up to this size.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I do have one of these. This is a bull shark. And I was like, okay, how big is this, the model I actually have? And I scaled it out and I actually put it into the machine and came out with from this to this.
Okay. So you did some math.
Yeah.
You didn't just guess.
And then it's like I have a Black Knight here. There's a Black Knight. Here's the original. And then I scaled it up. So
you could use those in Epic, those little ones. They could be a Titan, or I don't know what they call them.
It'd be the...
What are they called? I don't know.
Night Titan, or Night Titans.
Yeah.
It'd be like a Night Titan, basically. So eventually I'm going to get those guys.
So you're getting pretty...
I was going to say, as I was digging through for my new bases to put the mechs on, and I came across this.
Nice.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my gosh, I put it in the bottom of the drawer and I totally forgot about it. It's been in my drawer for 2 decades, probably.
Yeah, it's like Christmas.
Yeah, it's like untouched.
What a find.
Yeah. I totally forgot I had that.
I've been to your house. That wouldn't surprise me.
It's like a museum.
It is. It is literally like a museum, yes.
And I'll show you this guy. This is what I spent. It took me a week to print this.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, my god! Good. Yeah. See, that's even bigger than you've been showing me some pictures. That is huge.
Yeah. Yes, it took me a week to print this.
How many pieces was it?
Okay, we got one piece for your hand. Each arm is a piece. The head's a piece. The torso. Hips, the legs.
Oh my gosh!
Each wing, torso, each leg, arm, and then the base. And some of these would only, due to the size, it's like the head here, and then I had to go green stuff it all.
Yeah, I saw you did, but it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it's like you can't tell that it was green stuff. But,
yeah, they weren't gaping holes. It wasn't terrible.
But yeah, this is what I'm working on now.
That's just a display piece, I assume, right?
Yes. This is well, this will be for Marvel
Crisis Protocol. That's good. He's gonna do it in like 1/6 scale.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Use your entire living room for the
battlefield.
Battlefield.
Yeah. Could you imagine the Hulk?
I do have an STL for the Hulk, so
yeah.
Eventually,
I will do the Hulk. But
someday I'll do a large. I've never painted. That just looks daunting to me. You know, all my techniques that I use on 28mm would be like out the window.
So it detaches. So it's easy to paint. It's no different from painting a Night Titan or any of this, this big guy right here. This.
Yeah, well, you paint a lot of bigger stuff.
I like painting big stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
That's intimidating to me.
And then it pops off its base here. Get it off. It's got.
I love the gargoyle thing. That is cool.
Yeah. It's got his little holes in the base. It
attaches right on
there.
That's sweet.
And it's really tight. I made it so as tight a fit as possible, but it would just snap on basically. And then once I got that together, and then I glued the legs and stuff on it and let that dry, and then I green stuffed it so fill in all the gaps.
Yeah, nice.
Then I'm gonna put a black wash on this and then bring it up from this to kind of lighten it up some with some recessed details.
Cool.
Very cool.
And the drink of choice tonight is 8-year-old Black Velvet.
All right.
Oh.
And 8 years old. It's been in your cabinet for 8 years?
No, it's aged 8 years. It's Black Velvet Reserve, 8 years.
Reserve for Rusty.
I kind of figured because nothing generally lasts in my cabinet for that long.
Yeah, not bad. It's easily crushable drink. When I first got this stuff, I went through probably 2-3 bottles in no time flat because it was just that tasty.
I had it with my Cheerios.
Yeah.
We always crush it on the Musty Wargamers.
Well, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's like what Lord Draconum says he's working on, some 15mm Arthurian figures.
Yeah, he's always shipping pictures off to me, showing what he's been working on.
Oh, that's cool. 15mm.
Tonight we were discussing, he was looking at what he could use for his Arthurian King Guard. And I said, just get some Huskarls from like Splintered Light or like 15mm Old Glory or something.
I'm anxious to try those 15mm ACW that I've got. That's on the menu maybe for next year.
Well, as soon as I get done with this commission here, that's been told it's no rush on the commission, so that's kind of like,
don't ever say that. Cheapers when you
yeah. I need it tomorrow. Okay,
you have to do that, so then maybe you'll get it this year, right?
Yeah. I always get sidetracked, and I'll always move on to other stuff.
Yeah, it's not pressing.
And Clark says, I like venison brats. When I do chili, I add a pound of ground venison. I seen a meme tonight where guy was grilling spoiled brats. It's like, don't put any of that other ketchup or anything. It was just nothing but Grey Poupon. And
isn't that against the law to grill spoiled brats?
They were spoiled rotten type of brats.
Sounds tasty.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it was, 70-something degrees today, so it could have.
That was weird.
Today.
It was cold and windy this morning, and then this afternoon it was windy and hot.
Yeah. It was 58 when I started my walk, and by the time I got done with my walk, it was 70. I had to take my sweatshirt off because I was sweating.
Yeah, I know. I started this morning with all my winter stuff on, and during the day I kept wondering why I was getting so hot and sweaty. Well, it's because it was getting warm.
You could feel that sun baking you.
Yeah.
That's like...
really dry air, too. Jeez.
Yeah, heat up quickly.
Sucking my skin.
Well, and then the clouds rolled in.
Yep.
When I got home, it was 2 degrees Celsius, which felt nice here.
Yeah.
Celsius.
That's coming our direction.
Yeah, tomorrow. But then by Sunday, it's supposed to get up to in the 70s or close to 70 for Omaha at least.
Yeah. Well, we've been getting 4 seasons in like 2-3 days.
Yeah, pretty normal spring weather, I guess. Yeah.
The joke this week has been, okay, we're going to get up into the 70s, have tornadoes and a blizzard.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Let's see. I'm working on my 7th Crucius Lancers, Silent Mouse. Clark, I haven't done any way of painting. Finished one Japanese cruiser for dystopian.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always intriguing, I think.
Yeah, I need to get back into painting. I have some dystopian war stuff that needs painted.
You've painted a lot of that through your life.
Yeah, it's like I used to be. I used to paint a fleet a week.
Yeah, you were selling it. Painting and selling.
Buy a box for $30, paint it in 1 week, and sell it for $200. It's like good income.
Yeah.
Hellhounds are nice. Daredevil is huge. Yes, he is. He's humongous. And that is all the comments for tonight.
What do they call the scale of that large?
That's just model scale.
Okay, I didn't know how they do that.
It's like
bust scale or whatever.
I think this is 1/6 scale or 1/8 scale. I can't remember exactly what it is. The Supergirl that we have that you've seen sometimes on the channel, she's 1/4 quarter scale.
1/4. Okay.
I think I sent you a picture of her and him together.
Next to him, yeah, you did.
So he looks small compared to her.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So we have a couple topics tonight.
Topics.
Yeah, always got some topics. Well,
we never stay on topic, though. You never notice that?
Hey, it's like you just wander the wilderness and end up where you end up.
See where you end up. It's a starting point anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's not a mission.
Well, we got some good discussions, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Always do. All right. So we have 2 topics. They kind of work together. And one topic is, do types of dice used in rule systems guide your decision to use those rules? And the other topic is, how campaign systems, how to add a campaign system to your favorite game, and what games have good ones and how they work. Which one should we do first?
Oh, it's your show, right? Or what channel are we on?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Well, I think they kind of just interlock together, but
or they can be, yeah.
You know, just talk about campaigns for the most part. Kind of work our way into some of that, but some of the most common. It's like right now, I've been playing a campaign for BattleTech, 2 campaigns actually. And one campaign's been going for about 6 years now.
That's what I thought you'd said. And I was curious how that campaign, how the system works. I mean, is it designed as a campaign system, or you guys are just kind of free forming that?
Yes.
Okay.
BattleTech does have a very good campaign system.
Okay.
They actually have a book almost dedicated towards campaigns.
Okay.
Yeah, they have like 5 rule books, and each one, it's like an onion. The BattleTech is like an onion. Each book, you know, adds a layer if you want to, and each book can add like 100 layers if you want. You just pick and choose what rules you want to use.
Right.
It also makes your eyes water if you're near it with a knife.
Yes, definitely. But,
Did you?
Yeah. Like, ow, my eyes. But yeah, it's not that bad. A system where it's the campaigns are geared towards playing as a mercenary.
Okay.
You could play as a house troop, but you know, it's like you're not going to see much action unless it's a war.
Because they don't leave their system, or why? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's like you have your troops would be, you know, planetary defense.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yep.
This regiment be stationed on this planet, and they don't go anywhere unless it's a war. And even then, if it's a war, it's only on that units that. Probably. Yeah, it's like you may take, say, you may have 3 regiments on a planet. They may take one of those regiments for the war effort.
Okay.
Because you never know when your neighbor is going to decide that, hey, we like that planet. Since you're busy over there, we'll go over here.
Take that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like your campaign system, is it interplanetary then? I mean, like, I don't know enough about BattleTech. So, like each of your factions, are they from a different like galaxy or something, or what? I don't know. Or are they factions? Is that what you call them? I don't know.
There's houses.
Houses. That's the word. I've heard that thrown around. Yeah.
Yeah. Each house will have, you know, so many worlds that they control. Some houses are bigger than others.
Okay. Houses. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Dune thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. But on Dune, a house controls one planet. Mm-hmm. In BattleTech, a house will control maybe 1,000 worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's on a large scale, like House Karita, House Davian, and House Steiner control a lot of worlds. House Lyo is a smaller one, and you have a couple other smaller ones that are like, they may have 30 worlds or so.
Okay.
You know, they're just peripheral house that, you know, they're enough to keep themselves from being invaded too much.
Right.
But yeah, it's an interesting way of going at it. But all the actions as a merc. So if you're playing as a merc, you're going to be busy. You're right. You know, if you really want to get into it, elaborate, you know, you could have contracts where you write up a contract for this mission or something, or missions. You know, it's like, oh, you're going to be we want you to take out this factory or something of that nature on this one world. And
okay,
you do a raid. They'll pay you to do a raid. and it's all deniability type of thing.
Okay. So is that's on the campaign system, you mean, or that's what you guys decide to do?
Yeah, it's can be part of the campaign. It's just however you want to go at it.
And then, see, the thing that always interests me, like in a campaign, is so do you capture like territory, or is it kind of like the same mechs and they take damage and they get, like repaired, or they pick up, advancements, or I mean that kind of thing?
There's this thing called perks and stuff that you can use in the game.
Okay.
That is like, we set up our own campaign system using that, where you do certain actions will get you a point or two or something of that nature. And then once you add up about 50 points, then you can roll off for a skill.
Oh, okay, cool. There. Yeah.
So that's how we do ours, where, it's like this pilot may be doing something, and then, you get a headshot. Okay. You hit somebody in the head, you'll get a point for that. And killing a target may get you a couple points. So
like experience points, like you'd call them.
Yeah, it's experience points. It's basically, in a nutshell, we've created an experience system where.
Okay. That's a good way to do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like we're basically playing D&D equivalent.
Yeah.
But as Mech Warrior, it's a similar system that's in. There's a Mech War. BattleTech has a system where you're playing like role playing. It's very similar type of system, but we integrated it into our regular BattleTech games. And since we're playing as mercs, our guys are in a typical mission. You always see me. We're playing those games where you got the battle report we put up.
Yep.
And for that battle report, some pilots now surviving the battle will get you 2 points.
Oh, see, that's what I like. Where you got to try to, most games you play, it's like just throw them into the meat grinder. You just whatever your objective is, capture a point, or you don't care about losses. And I like to be able to have to care about losses.
And
for the next game. Yeah,
that's cool. Why the way we play it is that you're playing as a mech commander, where everything you're doing matters.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's like you're not going to throw your stuff away just willy-nilly as like a pickup game. You're just going to typical pickup game. You're fighting until everybody's dead.
Total carnage. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't play that way. So it's like if you're playing with things are starting to go south pretty quickly for you, you're just like, okay, we're turning around, we're leaving.
Yep.
And it's like, cut your losses and get the heck out of Dodge, because and you have this thing called forced withdrawal. Okay. So a mech may get enough internal damage, or a system gets destroyed that forces it. It's like, hey, you're a merc, you're not going to want your equipment being obliterated, because this mech may have been passed down from father to son for generations. This is a generational mech as part of the merc family, and you don't want that destroyed. So you're going to turn around and leave.
You take care of it,
Yeah. You're going to shepherd your gear.
So the other question I always have in campaigns in general is, does it have a mechanism, or do you guys use a mechanism that...
A mechanism. Keep going.
No pun intended, right? Yeah, I didn't even catch it. I'm slow. Okay, but do you have a mechanism that allows for, like, if somebody's getting pounded, or has lost a couple games, had some bad luck, or made a couple bad decisions or whatever, that they're still able to, be competitive? Because sometimes you see campaigns, the winner gets this, the loser gets pounded, doesn't get to have, he starts with less points next time or something, and it sort of just spirals out of control to me.
Yeah.
So what do you guys?
Yeah, it's mission to mission. So somebody's always playing the mercs, because we have
okay,
over here we have typically 3 or 4 players on one that can play the mercs if they need be.
Okay.
And somebody's can always play the Op 4. And if you're playing the Op 4, you just are like the Planetary Defense Force trying to defend the objective that the other side, the mercs, are trying to take or hit.
Okay.
And a lot of times, which is true to life, it's not going to be a balanced system, where sometimes the mercs may be outnumbered,
right?
And sometimes the defending troops are outnumbered. So it's just a matter of.
Yeah, and I don't mind asymmetrical games, especially in a campaign system.
Yeah. And now, if you're playing a pickup game where you bring 1,500 points, I'll bring 1,500 points, right. and it's like, then it's a knockdown, drag out, everything dies.
Do you guys still play in that fashion, or is every game you play like part of your campaign?
Every once in a while, we'll play a knockdown, drag out fight.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's like my son, he's like, we're not going to play a campaign game, and we'll just play a pickup game type of thing.
So that's so you can try some different strategies too, but you can bring different lists that you don't normally try.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So in the end, it is works out pretty decently. Where somebody's always going to be playing the Op 4. Somebody's always going to be, and you kind of can rotate through who's going to be playing what.
So do you guys all have both, or you just share armies, or what?
I have my own. Each one of us has our own clipboard that's here that has your unit on it. And a lot of times before the game even starts, let's say I'm the game master, which I'm the one that set up the scenarios. And what I'll do is, I got the scenario set up, and they have no idea what they're facing.
Oh, cool.
So it is like they're going in blind. So they have no idea what they're going to face off against. How many points may be on the side. And it's like, okay, you get to pick. I'll give them the parameters of the mission that they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, choose what you want to bring.
Oh, that's fun.
Or else I'll have, it's like sometimes it's like, okay, here's your mission. And here are pre-made your lances from your units that you have for your mercs are here and set up as lances. You just have to decide which lance you're taking. And so they may end up doing it's like, okay, this is a recon lance. This is a flanker lance. This is an assault lance or a heavy lance, grind and pound type of unit.
Okay, interesting.
And then they'll have to decide how they want to, within the parameters of the mission that they were given, how they may want to go at it. So that's kind of like what we do. This last game that we played, what do you call it? Fight in the Bayou. It's like, okay, here's your clipboard. You see what the terrain looks like. You decide what you want to bring. I'm not going to tell you what to bring. Just bring 2 lances.
Okay. Well, what's a lance? Sorry for my ignorance.
4 mechs.
Okay.
A section, would be your 2.
Okay.
So they'll look at it and go, okay, I think I'll go with this. Go this route or this route. And they, this last game, I told them, it's like, hey, here's your mission. You see what you're doing. You're patrolling in this watered section.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring what you want to bring. You take in 4 or 8 mechs, and you decide what you're going to do.
So do you have to game master other parts of that, or you're just setting up the scenario, and then do you play then, or do you have to GM that? Okay.
I play then I'll play the Op 4.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't mind playing the Op 4. sometimes it was like a lot of times it's like as the Op 4, I won't be concentrating. I'll go on like a broad front or something like, instead of concentrating my firepower in one spot, because sometimes if I do, I'll obliterate them.
Oh, okay.
And I'll let them decide. It's like, okay, I'll say, I'm set up. I'm in these areas. You can't, I'm doing blind setup. I'm already set up on the table. I'm just using counters or something of that nature to determine where I'm blind.
Yeah.
And then you come in where you want to. And then I have to adjust from there.
Okay.
So
and these, go ahead.
There's just ways of adding mystery to the game.
Right. And these games are, you play it in this fashion for your campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now.
So then, okay, just like quickly, without going into a lot of detail, just so I'm understanding, you're talking about the Op 4 or whatever?
Yeah,
or the
opposition force.
Is that what, is that a specific like faction, or it's just anybody can be the Op
4? Typically, right now, we're playing in the Fourth Succession Wars.
Okay.
So the opposition force is the Capellans.
Okay.
So House Davian and House Steiner are fighting the Capellans.
Okay.
And as mercs, our unit's been hired to fight in the war.
Okay. It's all based in its lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is extensive. Yeah. So, do you play any other games or have knowledge of other games, campaign systems besides like BattleTech?
Well, we used to do.
I mean, I know there's other games that do, but yeah, did you play any?
Yeah, those other ones. BattleTech's the biggest one. We used to play Warhammer Fantasy. We used to have a campaign system going on at the store.
Okay.
That was kind of interesting. It was like you get so many points. You started off, and they tried to make it sort of like a role playing, like a slow grow league that we had going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, in this week you're going to be fighting, and if you lose a battle, you can recoup so many losses that you had.
Okay.
Playing the next campaign, or else you can try to combine with another player that's in the same faction as you to make a bigger, larger battle.
Okay.
There's many ways of making it interesting.
Because wasn't there even at one time, didn't Games Workshop, wasn't it like Mighty Empires or something?
Yes.
That was like it had little even actually plastic hex. Like it was a 6th edition that I'm thinking of anyway. And
yeah, I think
you could lay out those tiles, and it had the little castles, and each tile was its own thing. So I think I got one free tile in a White Dwarf magazine subscription that I had back then. And then you could buy the box set that had all the tiles, and then somehow then you would, people or different factions would control the different territories or areas or hexes or whatever, and then and that would also set the terrain that you would fight in by what the terrain was in that tile, if who chose to attack or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never had
that.
Excuse me.
Let's see, what is I think I had over here is on my shelf here is a game from Avalon Hill called Magic Realms.
Oh, I have Magic Realm.
Yeah,
that's mind-blowing.
We would use that for we had it back in the day, a campaign where we used that Magic Realm to move our armies around.
Oh, that's smart. So play Magic Realm is like advanced calculus.
Or it seemed like it back then, yeah.
Yeah, trying to understand the rules are just not well done. Anyway.
So that's one thing we'd do.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So you always had some type of mechanic that we'd use to play the campaign.
Okay.
And I always find it's like the pickup game is fun and all, but I prefer to have something that has some meaning to it. It's like Clark here said, when you care about your losses, gameplay changes completely.
Exactly. And that's what I think is cool. It gives it more of a role-playing feel too.
Yeah.
And you really invest in what's happening. And I like, it changes the whole way you play.
Yeah, it's like you can play a game where let's say you're playing Warhammer Fantasy, you don't care about what happens in the game. You may take more risks to try to win the game.
Yeah, because it depends. Are you trying to get, to claim these certain objective points, or are you trying to, and so, yeah, losses are not your, I mean, sometimes it is, you get points for that too, but, but largely you can throw a lot of units away in order to obtain the objective and still win.
Yeah. Like the whole mechanic of kind of like in chess where you're thinking about sacrifice. Oh, I'm going to sacrifice this unit to tie you up. I don't care if they die or not.
You do that in bolt action all the time too. It's like sacrifice that unit because it gives you this other opportunity, which, that's also part of warfare, I suppose. But I'd like to look at it differently. And then where you got to look at it long term, because you don't necessarily have more troops always getting fed in. So, and then you can get them to advance, become more competent in whatever way or gain some skills. And I just find that's cool, I think. And then there's a storyline to it. Because for me, the story of the game is what's really fun. And that's what I enjoy about each individual game. And then if you could tie the stories together and then have these certain miniatures that are like, he started out as a private, and then maybe now he's, and he's survived this and did that. And he's become he's the NCO of the squad now, or now he's, he's a lieutenant or whatever. And it just kind of following some of that through, I think is, I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah. It seems to give more meaning to it.
More meaning, role-playing, fashion factors to it.
It's like if you're in real life, a soldier does not want to be considered a sacrificial item. It's like I got meaning, I don't want to, it's like
exactly.
The troops, the command staff up the top may think of you as that they have to die for the glory of the empire. But
yeah, well, and of course there's always calculated losses and stuff, but you hate to be the one that's expendable.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm not expendable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like then you always hear the adage is like, how about we give the generals all the weapons and send them into a dark room, and who comes out wins.
Yeah, exactly. That'd save a lot of anguish on both sides.
That reminds me of the what was it? Was it Troy? Where I think it was the movie Troy, where
I don't know if I actually did see that ever, actually.
Where Brad Pitt is playing what's his name? Who's the famous warrior?
My brain is not functioning tonight.
He's Achilles.
Okay.
Where it's like the two armies are meeting and about ready to kill each other off, and they call out their greatest, their champions to fight the battle for them. It's like, all right, which champion wins it, wins the
battle.
It's like that saves a lot of lives,
That's what they always said. You should just, instead of having the war, you just play it out on the tabletop miniature game, and then just agree that that's the outcome.
Damn it! They fixed it.
Yeah, there'd be no way you could agree on that, but
you cheated.
Maybe they'll do that in 1,000 years. That's the way they'll resolve conflicts. You cheated. Dice are weighted. Which brings up dice, right?
Yeah. No, it's like obviously BattleTech is a D6 system. Actually, it's not a D6. It's 2D6, but
okay,
which is totally different from a D6.
And it's funny because most miniature games, or I think you could safely say most, are D6, but like some of my first experience really with, other than like Monopoly, was of course role-playing games. Dungeons and Dragons comes with that whole pack of freaking every shape of dice that there ever was, and so that's not a new dice. Yeah, not a new concept, but you know, some games used some D10s back in the day for mostly in lieu of you know, percentages mostly is what they were done. But it's funny, it didn't really, it's still D6s were the way to go on most games. I suppose the whole curve was figured out, you know, because a good designer, I suppose, knows the odds that he's trying to achieve and how to make that work on D6. But I mean, you could do it on any die, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Why that is.
When you look at dice, it's all percentage.
That's all it is. Odds, yeah.
Everything's an odds, percentage dice, and it's like you get more of a derivation with a D20, obviously, versus a D6. It's like a D20, you're getting a 5% change per pip, versus the was it 16% with
I'm not even sure anymore.
You guys want to see a work in progress?
Yeah,
I do.
Give me a second.
Oh man, here. That's your start. Yeah, blow him up.
These are just two of the different styles. Let me see if I can straighten these guys out, but kind of like not the best picture that I've got going on here, but I'm actually starting to really like them. I still have to do I did a glaze just now over the body, so I could get some highlights. But I still want a little more contrast than what you see, so I'm going to go with a nice strong tone ink glaze over that. But I'm really liking them.
Those are starting to look nice.
Yeah, I really like these guys. They're really cool. Yeah, I just find they're so sinister looking. Like for a Dragon Ogre, the original Dragon Ogre sculpt is so sinister looking compared to the ones later. The ones later look more like ogres with reptile bodies below.
Yeah, agreed.
I like these. I mean, you know, to each his own, but I just love these. And I sacrificed the idea of having different sculpts and having more of a monopose look, old style school, in order to have that miniature, because it's the only Dragon Ogre miniature I like, other than the Shaggoth miniature, who's like the king of the Dragon Ogres or whatever you want to call him. But
yeah,
the Shaggoths, you know, the Shaggoth miniature is very cool too, but only one sculpt for that really. But yeah, I'm enjoying these guys.
You got the Shaggoth, right?
I do. Yeah, I painted him up. I could show. Well, I've shown him on the channel. I guess I've shown him on the videos, but yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think I know I've seen it. Yeah,
I like these guys and him together on the field. They're going to be great because you can actually make the Shaggoth your general if you want, and with the Beastmen. And so I'll do that at one point.
Cool. That's great. You're getting a lot of fantasy games in. That's crazy. I mean, even not doing as much painting as you used to do, but you're consistently getting games in. And I remember, what was it when you first? How many years ago was that, Palmer? When you put up that video about you were going to get into 6th edition. You picked 6th edition was the one you were going to start with, and you were just excited to delve into it. And now look where you are.
Yeah.
Maybe 6-8 years ago, 6, 5, 6.
It's been a while. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 17 or 18.
It's always longer ago than you think. Yeah, probably in that ballpark.
Yep. Yeah, something like that.
Crazy. That's cool.
Time does fly. And
but you stuck with it, and you've accomplished it, and you've reached you're reaching your goal. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Long process.
Yeah. I'm happy that because for the longest time I wasn't getting any games for fantasy, but just painting. That's true. And for a while there, I was sort of like, oh, I'm just painting, not gaming or whatever. Yep. And now I am getting the chance to play, and I don't play yet. I've played one 2,000 point game where I was able to bring 2,000 points. Most of my games have been 1,000 points, and I'm and a lot of that is because I will occasionally play after work and
the time
the person that I play with, we have to kind of limit it, and then, but I guess I'm also appreciative of some of the miniature channels that really invest in a game army, but mostly paint and just really enjoy it. And although they might play here and there, they still are very absorbed into the game by painting an army and really being and enjoying that part. And like, it's like, you'll probably have known people that will like paint Napoleonics forever and not have had a game. But just, that doesn't mean they're not a war gamer. You know what I mean? You know, like they still paint the miniatures and they're still going to play, and they've played maybe once or here or there, but it, you know,
I'm kind of in that category. I have never played a fantasy Warhammer game yet, and I have my Bretonnian army.
yeah, but you know, like the reality is,
but I still love it.
Right, exactly, and I think a huge part of, gosh, off topic here, but like I think a huge part of enjoying it is like all that 99% time at the table and just enjoying it. You know, like I don't know,
the social contract.
And the dream of the game one day that
just the anticipation, the dream, and then as far as Warhammer Fantasy, part of it is just the nostalgia. Like for me, it was something I always wanted to do and never. I didn't have the time or the money during the day, and then I finally got to realize that, and that was really a lot of fun. Plus, I always figure if you're getting armies or miniatures painted, you know, someday all of us are going to have more time, more than likely, you know, as either your career or job and the kids are gone and your life changes, you'll have more time, and maybe you can't even see by then to paint, but you'll have all these miniatures you can use, which I think that's cool. We put in the time, or if you don't play, it's fun to make the armies, I think.
Yeah.
For me,
you know, one thing you were talking about is getting all the games in, you know, like for me, it may seem like a lot, because I said I just played one and I'm going to be playing one this weekend, but I'm fortunate that I have more opportunity to game than I really have time or energy to game right now. And so I've even like, this is really, I find it could be its own topic, but I find being honest with my friends, like, you know, that I do play with, by saying to them, I really have to limit playing with you like once every 2 weeks maximum. You know, and saying like, and so this way I can play a game with you and I can play a game with so-and-so. And then because of the way my life is right now, I can only play a game every other week with each of you. So on average, I only have no more than one game a week. And then I have this, which, you know, like it's just, I really enjoy this because this is the thing that's getting me to paint right now.
Right.
But then also, it's we all reach certain points in our lives where we have a snapshot of time where we just only have so much space, right? And this for me is like the most that it's been in the last 10 years, like that I've been in the hobby. Since 2013 when 2013 when I started the hobby again. This is the most pressured I've been against my hobby time, and so I've had to be extremely structured. And then, and I try not to be insulting, like when I say that, like, you know, because I do value like being able to play a game with them. But basically, I have had to be very clear about that with both of them, like the two people I played.
Yeah, well, that's fair. You got to manage expectations and. Honesty is always best.
Yeah. No. I know. Maybe I'm making a big deal out of it when I mention that, because that kind of stuff matters to me. Like I don't like to offend people, you know, and so maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it is. But you know, but yeah, and like, you know, other people have that issue too. Like I'm not the only one that's busy.
No,
you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I'm talking to both of these guys, like I'm preaching to the choir. It's not that they're not busy too, but everybody kind of has different.
But it ebbs and flows. I mean, at different times you're busier than others, and
absolutely,
you know, it's all still time management. You know, time's the thing that we seem to have the least amount of.
Yeah, I hear
you can't make it. You can't make it. You can't buy it, and you can't save it.
Yeah,
just have to use it when you got it.
Use it when you got it, and try to figure out where you can maximize your enjoyment and and necessity, but.
I'm probably going to be losing my hobby room this summer because like I have an old house. Like, well, when I say old, it might just be relative, but I have a house that's like early 80s and it's never been like renovated or
that's
updated.
Not old.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but But it's original.
Yeah.
My kitchen's original.
Work. Yeah.
My kitchen's original. Like my kitchen.
Well, my kitchen's from the 80s still. We haven't remodeled it.
Yeah, and we haven't either. And so we are actually doing we're moving out of our house this summer, it sounds like.
Oh wow.
And then that's going to be for potentially up to 6 months.
Wow.
And so I don't know what's going to happen at that point, like, just for that time frame, but and so we'll see. But
that's life-changing there.
Yeah. Honestly, that has nothing to do with what I just talked about as far as being busy. So when I found out that this was going to happen, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, remodeling a house is horrible. We lived through a major remodel in our house here back in 2012, 13, and it was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
dirt was mess. Every room in the house got new windows, and so you're ripping off all the trim, and we painted rooms, stained doors, and redid the living room. It was all done at one time and added on a porch. It was a mess.
But it looks really nice.
Yeah, thanks. But it was painful.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
well, 2 years ago, we had all of our windows ripped out. We replaced.
Yeah, I remember you've done some major work to your house too. Yeah, our house was actually built in 1916, so it's new. Yeah,
that sounds awesome. I love
it's a beast.
Staircases, and I don't know if do you have I'm assuming you might have a second level. Like, is that?
Yeah,
there's bungalows too.
Full basement and main floor, and then a full upstairs, and then a full attic on top.
Do you have like the thin staircase of the old houses, like the thin?
Yeah, it's fairly thin. Yeah, and it's all the original woodwork in the thing, all the original wood floors, and
I really love because I go to whenever I can, I go to heritage homes and parks, like where they have like older homes and stuff like that, like and I absolutely love the architecture of older homes.
Me too.
Yeah, no, that's so amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's taken some work. They'd torn the old, had a wraparound porch on it that got torn off back when it was starting to rot away, and they didn't have the money and just wanted to, back then you were trying to simplify things, and get that old junk off there. So we put it back on, was part of the remodel. And
so do you have Harvest Gold or Olive appliances in the kitchen?
They were olive. All of them.
They were the olive ones. Yeah.
And the funny thing was the stove never would even die, and it was painful. But we finally said, okay, it's got to go. It outlived anything.
Funny. Yeah, we still got the green linoleum in our kitchen, and old dark brown trim and everything.
Yeah, that was very popular. We still have some of that too in the bathrooms, and can't do it all.
We have a ton of green. And I don't know whether it's green or aqua blue, but there's some color that we have. Our countertops are almost a blue green. And then we have it's not bamboo, but we have these wood slatted cabinets. And so it's there's slats of wood. It's all like a
veneer or something.
Well, it's wood. It's actual wood. I mean, the cabinets themselves are like a particle board.
Okay.
But the actual front cases are wood, real wood. But then they're these slats, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But it would remind it was popular back then, at least in this area. I have the original catalogs from the original owner. They said they gave me everything that they they saved everything.
That's cool.
But I was showing the blueprints of the house to a contractor, and he loves looking at the blueprints because they're all hand done. As compared to now.
Yeah,
they're all handwritten, hand done. He's like, can I take that with me? And because I'm getting quotes right now and I'm using them for more than a person, I'm like, no, you can't actually.
No, actually, no. Take a picture with your phone. Yeah,
that's pretty much what happened. I'm like, you can take them and make a copy, perhaps later. When I don't, but right now we're not settled on somebody. So
yeah.
So what year when was your house built?
80s, you said?
Mine was actually I'd like to say it was 80. It's 82, 83. I think it's 83 because the plans say 83. But for some reason, I saw some documentation that said 82. It must have been spanned that time frame. So it was just right.
Yeah.
82, 83. So
see, mine was built in 77.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the demo home for the entire, all the.
Oh, really? For that
the housing
neighborhood?
Yeah, for the neighborhood. So every window was different. I did notice it. We never noticed it because it's subtle. You know, it's like a little subtleness to it. And then when we went to
replace them, and
it was like guys measuring. And he was like, "Oh, when we put shades up, that's when we first noticed. Like, hey, wait a minute, nothing's the same.
Nothing's the same."
So we had everything put to the same size. They said, all right, we're going to put all the same windows in, same size, and then they framed them.
Okay.
They must have given you like every option too, though, like because usually when they do the demo home, I would imagine they would like if there's an option to have this, like you can have a carburetor in your sink, like put every single thing in.
Just, in one building. Yeah,
which is kind of nice.
Except when you're redoing your windows.
Yeah,
exactly. That kind of reminds me of Poltergeist for some reason when you say we had the demo home, because he was the guy that was selling the houses in the community, right? In the
right.
Poltergeist.
Yeah. Palmer always comes back to a movie.
You know, that's true. You don't have like a big tree next to your house, do you?
That's funny. I didn't want to interrupt, but Clark Stepp did have an interesting idea for a potential topic for a chat. He says, how do you get into a war game that is out of print? That's a good one.
We've done that. Yeah.
Have we?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think
it's called Armies of Arcana.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but we could take it. We could go further than that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's interesting. Let's make note of that.
Now, I don't know. Catch up on the questions real quick here.
Oh, sure.
It's like, yes, it was Achilles. I like them.
He's probably yelling at his screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like them. Are those the minis that they are getting the custom shields that you shown last time? Yeah, that should be the ones that you're.
One of them has a shield. Like I showed, and I actually, it's funny today, you can actually see I put some paint on it, but one of them has a shield.
Expand your rope.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like I did 3D print this shield and gave it to him, and then this one I gave him.
Oh, I remember you said that weapon.
The mace, yeah. The other two have the standard axe that came with a miniature, and I purposely used. I have an actual. If I ever wanted to redo this one, I have a proper arm axe. But I had one that was damaged, and I took the damaged one and I kept the good one, and I just used the damaged one and I put a mace in it, like I did a conversion with it.
I like that. That keeps that mono pose. Makes each one a little more unique. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and if I ever got rid of the army, I'd be like, or if I ever I don't know that I'd ever sell this army, and I don't know that I'd ever get rid of this unit, but I have the original arm that's good.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, it's not like you ruin this classic model, right? You could always take it back.
Even the shield with the thing is just green stuffed, and like it can be dipped and
be removed.
Totally removed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
like
I love it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like having a '69 Camaro and you start tweaking it around too much, man. You got to keep all that. You got to keep it original, or at least so you could return it to original. Yeah.
This unit alone is Canadian. Is probably without shipping, which you have to consider shipping, is probably on average $180 Canadian. So probably $140 to $150. For these three models put together, and it's probably cost me like $200 if I did, or more if I included shipping. This was actually, I don't say that lightly because I don't usually spend that kind of money like on a unit, even Old Hammer.
Did you have to piece it together though, or did you buy it as a unit?
It's a good question. I think two of them I got complete. I think one of them I got with something missing, and I think I got I think I got one purchase where I had. I think what it was is I got 2 that were complete, and then one was a lot that had enough to make 1.5.
Okay.
And so that's why I think I got the damaged one and stuff. And so I actually have like another body and like I have some more pieces, but I had enough to piece together my third one. And
that's pretty cool. That's like salvage. I love that.
Yeah, it's like an old motorcycle. I gotta get all my parts and stuff.
There you go.
I'm building my my Indian. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's great.
I don't know, but I did.
But those will hold their value. Just to bring that up again, though.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, there was one time because there's these folks that are just obsessed and have just been collecting old hammers since it was new hammer, and there was a guy that had 40 of these.
Oh Jesus!
And he didn't want to give one up. Like I didn't ask him to, but like he was like, I've got 40 of them. You know, at least if he's telling the truth. But I couldn't believe that.
Of course, if he'd gotten them back in the day, right? Or did he not? I mean,
you know, I don't remember. I think
then,
he just sort of made the comment.
Yeah, just offhand.
Yeah,
well, if they're like some of us, you know, when we were playing way back in the day, could be possible.
But even back in the day, at least to me, I don't know. Was it just me? But I thought, I mean, I was trying to get into it in the mid '90s, and I thought it was too expensive back then, and that's why I started collecting Raw Partha goblins instead. I was going to build a Raw Partha army, and I still have those, and I still want to do it.
Nice.
The Bob Ollie ones.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I got the whole, what do they call them? Whatever armies, but you know, actually was ordering them straight from Raw Partha in Ohio back then when they were there, and because I was like, I liked the look of the sculpts, and it was so much cheaper, and they were metal. You know, it wasn't like they were junky.
Yeah.
Because I just remember, wow, you know, to put a unit together, it was still going to cost me like, I don't remember. I was thinking at the time, I thought it was like $50 or $70 or something. And I was like, I don't have money for that, you know? So yeah, but even then it was expensive. It's just worse now, even with inflation. I think it's higher, but anyway.
It was like Bill joined us. Hello, Bill.
Oh, hey, Bill. He's got some freaking cool terrain.
Oh yeah.
Some of those
That's
tables
what those printers will do for you.
Dang. Yeah, but he's got some elbow grease going too. You know, that's a lot of work what he's put into those tables and the minis too, but the tables really catch my eye when I look at it. The pictures on my phone, I can't see it that well, but whoo, gorgeous stuff. What about you, Palmer? Do you have any Oh, you're showing. Are you making progress on that, Rusty?
Yeah.
That would take me like 1,000 years. Oh, did you do a wash or something?
Yeah, I just did a wash on it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I could tell was what looks different.
Nice.
More definition.
Nice. Yeah, lots of definition. Instead of flat, it's got definition to it.
What'd you use for a wash? A black or a red?
I used on the body of the gargoyle was a black, and then I used Reikland flesh shade for the
for the red. Really?
Yeah.
I would never have thought that. Huh?
Because it's
well played.
Oh well, Reikland flesh shade works really good for flesh tones. What the hell is that thing? Oh, damn bug.
That's what happens when it gets warm.
Yeah, it's like out of nowhere, I just had this thing fly by. Die. That's a stink bug. But yeah, it's like you use Reikland flesh shade for. I use it for even gold, brass.
I use Seraphim sepia for yellows and golds. I don't know. I should try Reikland flesh shade then.
If you want to get a more reddish gold, use Reikland flesh shade.
I'll try it because that's what I use on all my flesh, faces, skin.
It works. I just did it one time, just see what the effect was, and I'm like, oh, I really like this. It's better than I used to use Seraphim Sepia way back in the day. It was always like a black wash, and then I started using Seraphim Sepia or Agrax Earthshade, and then it's like, well, that's always dark. And then I start using regular fleshlight, and it gives a more reddish color to it.
Yeah. I've been watching some painting channels. It's interesting. Like a lot of times they'll use purples and things as glazes and things that I'm like on even like flesh even, or it's like, oh, never would have thought of that. And, and it works beautifully.
Yeah. If you got a dark skinned individual that's dark complected, like black or dark brown tones, yeah, purples will do the job better.
Of course, when they're doing it, it always reminds me of Bob Ross. They're just like slapping the paint on. Oh, let's put some purple. Like I'm like, whoa, 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 and they do, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it works good.
Gonna ruin it? Nope, made it better.
Yeah. I guess I'm sitting there hogging the screen.
Oh, that's fine. I'm actually getting some painting done. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's always a good deal.
Yeah, 100%.
Cleaning my brush here. Nothing worse than using wash on a brush.
Another game that uses different dice is Burrows and Badgers. Rusty.
Yes, it does. And
that looks, I have not played, but that does look brilliant. I like how they incorporate that.
And now that I have a printer, that's one thing I wanted to do if I ever got a printer is start printing off animals.
Burrows and Badgers
stuff instead of having to go ship stuff overseas. It's like now I can maybe print stuff if I can find it.
Yeah. And I always wanted to get some of the actual ones to support that sculptor. I can't even remember who it is now, but they do such amazing work, and they're seem like really cool. Who is that? I can't remember now. Why can't I think of it?
Oh,
God! Well, is it the guy that makes the game?
I can't even remember now.
The guy that does the miniatures for Burrows and Badgers is also the guy that does the rules for the game.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I remember. On the Kickstarters following that. Yeah, he just came across amazingly cool, and the sculpts are amazingly characterful, and you only need a few of them anyways.
There's one other game too. It's like a fantasy game, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oathmark.
Oh, Oathmark is his?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay. Could be.
No. Wait a second. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Sorry, because I'm kind of out of practice here. But hang on 1 second.
Oathsworn Miniatures.
Oathsworn Miniatures. That maybe is what made him think of Oathmark.
So his name is Michael Lovejoy.
There you go.
Yep. He does the sculpting, but then also the name of the company, although the book is put out by Osprey Games, Oathsworn. Yeah. Isn't it? Oathsworn. Yep. That's why I thought it was Oathmark.
Yeah, Rusty just said that as soon as you got up, he thought of it.
Yeah.
But that would be, and that's one I think I definitely will do at some point, because I can use a lot of my generic terrain I've got, and then you only need anywhere from 5 to 8 miniatures, so that's not this huge, and that has a campaign system of sorts, right? Doesn't it have? Oh yeah, you can gain some skills and things.
Yep.
Now
you're tying the topics together.
Exactly.
Oh, you know how you do.
And that's one thing. It's like it uses every type of character, monster, whatever, has a different kind of die that they use.
Yeah, the bigger ones use the larger, bigger, more sided die, and it's brilliant. I think it looks like it's cool as crap. It's funny. I don't hear as much about, and maybe I'm just not on the right Facebook groups or channels or whatever, I'm not seeing as much buzz about it. And maybe it's because they haven't run a Kickstarter for a little while, because that seems to bring a lot of people around. But the rule book is very affordable. It's very cool. Not high quality materials and pictures and things, and very intriguing. Oh, yeah. That'd be a nice side ramp.
Part of the Facebook group, but I don't remember seeing anything from them in forever.
Me too. And so I don't know if it's just not members of lots of groups, so maybe it's just getting drowned out by my other ones, or if
I believe they've done they do Kickstarters, and
that creates
for their new stuff.
Yeah.
And I believe they have released stuff. I think I've seen it on their Facebook page. People talking about it.
Okay. I'm sure.
John, who's one of our Facebook group for the Musty Wargamers, I painted his 28 mil Civil War guys.
Oh yeah, I remember when you were doing that.
Last summer. He sent me a link to a Kickstarter that just came live, where it was like a terrain Kickstarter.
Okay.
And the previous one they just did that went through was for a town, like a fantasy town.
Mm-hmm.
Like a village where you could buy print off the village buildings and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And
I think I saw that.
And I tried to support it, and it wouldn't accept my card.
Won't take your money. Okay, I see how it is.
Okay.
Huh.
And it was not expensive. It was like $30 for the Kickstarter.
Yes, that's the thing. The files are, usually pretty affordable. It's just, if you want to, like for me, if you don't have a printer and you want to, people will, there'll be, what do they call them? Not dealers, but vendors or whatever.
Yeah.
That has the rights to print them. That gets a little spendy. I mean, it's still fairly affordable as far as terrain goes, but.
Yeah, I noticed that after I started printing mechs off here this last couple of days that, you can go on like Etsy and spend, $10 to $15 for a model, and then turn around and it's like, and then realize that the actual cost of them is, you could print the same, like 8 of them for like $1.50. You're like, oh, yeah, they're making some money.
Yeah. Well, and that's fair. I mean, looks like Bill's doing some printing.
We got, I don't know if you guys mentioned this, I didn't hear it, but we got Jesse Purvis who's joined.
Oh, hey, Jesse.
And then we've got Tim over at Broken Dice.
Oh, I missed Tim. Oh, there he is.
He just came in. He looks like he's just came in not that long ago.
Oh, hey, Tim.
Hello, everybody.
Tim's been painting some Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Last video that I watched there.
Jesse's stuff. This is Jesse's stuff I've been painting up here. These.
Okay.
Nice.
Aurochs.
He's probably like, nudge, nudge. How you coming on those?
Well, he's right now he bought himself a bunch of Votan stuff, and he's putting those together to eventually come over here.
So you can paint those too. Okay.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, good to see Tim.
Bill says I'm printing Hellcats and Zeros for WW2 Aircraft Gaming. Which system are you going to use? Thinking of using either Bag of the Hun or Too Fat Large.
Bag the Hun by Too Fat. Oh, Check Your Six.
Check Your Six is probably a good one.
Huh.
I've heard of that one.
I have heard of that one.
Yeah, definitely print farms.
Was there a topic? Wasn't there a comment? Did I miss it? Did we answer the question about how do we get into? I've been so focused on the painting tonight. There was a question earlier about how do you get into a game that's out of print? Did we?
That was a suggested topic for.
That was a suggested topic, right? No, we should talk about that another time.
I think Clark mentioned it as we can make that a whole topic. I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Because
that's interesting. Like, you can go into collect. How would you collect the miniature? Because I've looked at doing like even the older dystopian war, or like some of the original like Man of War. That's one I've looked at, and there's different ways to go into that, and I hadn't decided what way I wanted to do it, so I haven't done anything yet, and I may not do it, but that's a good topic. It's interesting to me as well. Yep.
For another show.
Yeah, for like another show.
You brought up the dystopian wars, is that the first generation of it is out of print,
right?
But there's plenty of it still out there to be able to pick up. So.
And that's what I thought, because that old original one kind of does intrigue me. The models intrigue me, and so I was, that was, just kind of in the back burner thinking about that,
Yeah.
Like I don't have enough to do, so.
And that was a game that uses a D6, but it's a exploding D6.
Oh yeah, so 6s reroll or something. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you would hit on, let's say a 4 would hit. If you roll it for every 6, you get another reroll.
Yeah, there's some other games that do that, and of course some special abilities will do that in other games, like even Cannon or different systems will exploding.
And I like that. It's like it's the same as like in D&D. If you roll a natural 20, you get a a quit roll, so it's like you get like double damage or something.
Yeah, that's right.
There's multiple ways of handling, and that's one thing about Dystopian War that I really enjoyed was the exploding dice mechanic. Where there were times when we had some games where, well, I got one die. My little frigate is about dead. I got one die. I'm going to throw it, and just for the see what happens. And it's like, oh, I got a 6. And you roll again. Oh, I got another 6. Roll again. Got another 6. Roll again. Yeah. Oh, I got another 6. And they just keep looking at you, like, are you cheating? What the heck's going on here? And it's like
you always gotta try. Yeah.
It's like I'm picked. Like you put the 6 off to the side, representing how many hits you got, and you just pick up another die and keep rolling. And next thing you know, you have a whole bunch of hits, and they're like, "Are we safe now?"
Yeah. I know. It's funny how luck goes.
And his little frigate, he's off by himself, and he ends up nuking a cruiser.
Well, and then just another thing that I thought about, which I don't think either one of you guys have played, but Chain of Command by Two Fat Lardies, right? And they have those bite-sized campaigns that I've kind of watched online people play, but it's like there's a fair amount of time in between when I'll watch the games and stuff, so I haven't really in my mind been able to put together how the campaign exactly works, but that's like the only World War II one that I'm aware of. But that's such a different system than bolt action that I don't know if you could incorporate any of those
mechanics into it.
Mechanics, or or even just mechanics, or even just concepts into that. I always am surprised that Warlord Games doesn't come up with that, because they have all those. They love to put books out. They have all those. Well, they call them like they call them campaign books, but it's not really they don't really. There's a ton of scenarios, but they're not really linked together per se. I mean, you could kind of play them in order if you wanted. They're chronological, but there's no kind of framework for like how to go at then like the effects of the battle on your troops, then whether it's a morale thing or guys can advance and go from inexperienced to regular, or just and then like you lose a few guys in your squad, can you maybe you roll a die you're able to replace a couple of them due to reserves coming in, or just things like that. You'd think they would come up with something like that, because it can't be that hard to do, and I think people would love it, but in all the books and there's tons of them out there, so I'm always surprised they don't. I don't know. It begs for it, I think, but
that's an interesting idea, because when you think about bolt action, it could be set up as a campaign system.
Yeah, my buddy Mark and I, we've started talking now about, I don't know when. He's still got some things going on in his life that keeping him pretty busy, but at some point he's going to have a little more time. And him and I both really love to play bolt action. And he's got a lot of painted armies and terrain and stuff too. We live so just 20 minutes away from each other, so we started talking. We kind of made up a few things in that last bolt action game we played just off the cuff and made it really fun. And we were kind of talking like we could come up with some stuff, And so I think we would, because we tend not to play real. I always call it competitively. We're both playing to win and stuff, but we're both really enjoying the narrative so much that's almost like the primary focus is the story it's telling. And so I think we might come up with some things.
Well, I was just thinking about that, was that with bolt action, let's say you're playing as the Americans, for example. Mm-hmm. You had some of the same troops that landed in North Africa.
Right.
They ended up hitting the beaches in Normandy. Too. So, so you could set the game up where you campaign across North Africa, survives, and then they get experience, veteran level, have it set up where you got replacement troops come in. Mm-hmm. And eventually you're going to have them campaign, they'll hit Normandy and then just keep moving on. You just keep.
Yeah. Well, and then I'd like to have some named characters. I'm not saying I want to be zoomed into the level where every guy in every squad is named, but maybe some of the NCOs of each squad are named. You could do that, because you're not going to likely have more than 5 or 6 squads, and then your weapons teams. Maybe your tank commander or something could be somebody, your lieutenant, maybe your medic or something. I just see there's so much cool potential there, I think.
Let's see. Tim asked, here we go. Let's bring it up, catch up here. I got some old Gauls on the table now, moving back to historical miniatures. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was going to kind of take a little break from the fantasy, I think.
Mm-hmm. What's everybody working on? And I'll expand mine. It's easier. I need a full screen for you to see it.
Yeah.
I worked on this guy tonight.
It's like the Stanley Cup trophy isn't that big.
Yeah. There we go. This is Daredevil. I printed this guy off.
DD.
Well, that's what I'm working on. I'm not working on right now. Oops. Ooh, he almost fell off his gargoyle.
Off his perch.
Get back on your perch. Get on your... There you go. And right now I'm working on this little guy here for the Mall Crusher. What are you working on, Dan?
I am working on my... Where is it? Yeah, I've got a bunch of Perry AWI Continentals that I'm actually just about got them finished up. I'm working on the bases, painting the rims on them now, and then they'll get varnished and matte coated, and then get the tufts and stuff on them and have them ready to go. That's what I've been. And I'm going to continue on with the AWI for the that's kind of my main focus for right now.
And Palmer is over there doing his own thing.
He is deep in his zone there. That's good.
Yeah. Three Dragon Ogres. Old school, original Dragon Ogre sculpts. Got 3 of these that I'm working on.
Those are huge. When I see it in your hand, I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
It's good size. I mean, it's not especially as big as Daredevil.
Yeah, but back then, those... the miniatures have been supersized through the years. That's a big miniature for back then.
For back then, you're right. Yeah.
I wonder if Combined Arms is their campaign system in for Warlord.
Yeah, but it looks to me like, and that's a cool concept, but it just looks like that's just a way for them to tie all their different games together. Like, well, now we're going to do, what is it, the naval game, and then they can do their airplane game, and then you can play bolt action. And I've watched it, it's not really what I'm looking for, but it's funny that's what they came up with. That I don't know. I don't see it as being there'll be people that buy it and maybe some that use it, but I don't see it as being I wasn't that impressed with it. Personally.
Jesse said there's also Flames of War as a World War II game. Yeah. And it's easily you could play it. Flames of War could be used as a campaign setting too. You just play battle by battle. You could do battle group is another one that you could easily play a campaign in because it's kind of geared that way.
Yeah, that game looks amazing.
Tim, I played some Flames of War and I really like it. The early war in North Africa. Yeah, it's like early war when you get into the Eastern Front, North Africa, where the tech isn't all that high. Tanks don't dominate as well. They die easily.
Yeah, that's true.
And Tim says, holy bejesus. Is that about the Daredevil? Must be.
Yeah, I think it's ginormous.
Bill said, I'm painting Swiss for Nevermind the Bill Hooks Deluxe.
Oh yeah, the new rule set that is the deluxe, they call it, right? And I'm not sure what's different about it. I remember seeing that. Bill's been on fire lately, getting stuff cranked out.
Yeah.
Well, Tim too. Yeah, well, probably everybody, but
Tim says, nice, Dan. About your
Thanks, Tim.
Palmer, that makes me miss my old Beastman army.
I remember you said that you sold that. I remember the video.
Oh, that's sad. That makes me sad.
I know. It's like there are times when I think about it's like, oh, do I get rid of my old stuff or not?
Unfortunately, I never have, but
well, some of my epic stuff is going out the door. I've been selling some of it.
You got a lot of stuff though, Rusty. I mean, like
I got more than I need.
Yeah. And you got so much that painted stuff that's nice and huge armies of things that, I mean, you've got a lot of game systems you can play. And if you got rid of some of them, you know, I'm sure it won't break your heart.
No,
and as fast as you paint, you could probably rebuild them. Maybe not to quite that size, but to a playable size again if you chose to.
Pretty much. And Bill says, I miss the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle game in general. I have Empire, Tomb Kings, and Orcs and Goblins. So do I.
Cool.
And I have Dwarves, Chaos. Well, I used to have a big Chaos Dwarf army until I walked out the door, but I'm planning on rebuilding it.
It's funny, the longer, and that's the one thing I'm going to say about it tonight, though, but the longer it's taken for them to come out with Warhammer the Old World, the less interested I am.
That tends to happen, though.
That's the same thing that happened to.
I mean, I'm still excited to play 6th and 5th edition, which Rusty and I will at some point, no doubt. Yeah. I'm excited, jazzed about that still, but I don't know that I have any interest in jumping in the new thing. You know, we'll see what it is, but I'm not anticipating it. At first, I was kind of excited, you know, and that was 3 years ago. Sort of like after a Kickstarter, you know, and by the time you get the game, it's like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but I've moved on since then.
I am perfectly content in settling on an old edition and just playing that.
Same here. I've got everything I need for it already. Yeah. Period. And I'm not into the new hype thing, and then I mean, maybe I'll wait and see. how the rules are, if people love it, but I don't know. I mean, the models, if it's going to be, I don't know. I kind of like the old aesthetic. So,
Look,
Chaos Warriors,
Empire, and Ogre Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, Empire. That'd be cool.
I sold off my ogres. I didn't have enough of them to worry about them, so I got rid of them.
Only 40 or 50, right?
Yeah.
Most of my beastmen, other than I have like a lot of character old school beastmen that I can still paint. That is more labor of like other ones in addition to my Bob Ollies that I already did. But most of my and I guess I still have a bunch of those Bob Ollies to paint. I actually have 15 more of the actual Zinch ones because I did the Nurgles, the 15.
Oh,
I've got the Zinch ones to do, but I've got a bunch of other ones like old school ones. So I could probably paint Beastmen the rest of my life from like a passion perspective, but from like a fielding perspective, I've mostly got that army painted. So I have the Beastmen army. I actually have Mortal Chaos to add to it if I want to do combined. And then I have a full old school High Elf army to paint, and then I have Orcs and Goblins that I could probably start getting close to fielding. It wouldn't take me that long to start going. And so, because I have a lot of Goblins painted, but I have Orcs to paint and stuff.
Anybody need a bag of Empire?
And so for me, that's enough for me forever. Like at this point.
Yeah. So why chew off a whole new? Yeah.
How about a bag of Chaos?
Oh my god.
What edition are they?
Those would have been what?
Like 6th, you mean, or
4th edition?
Oh, nice.
Hey, about an ogre.
There you go.
Yeah, because I've got my Bretonnians. I need to paint a few more to be able to field a few of the units that like I don't have the Knights Errant and the Grail Knights painted yet, but I've got I've got tons of both.
Yeah.
And then I have collected over the last about 3-4 years, Vampire Counts army basically, or Undead. I've got everything from 4th edition models into the 6th edition, and I don't see myself doing any other Warhammer Fantasy armies. That's plenty for. Oh, I actually have my Lizardmen. That's right. I did start with that too, but those 3 are the only ones The Orc and Goblin is tempting for me, but it's the old models are just so expensive and hard to get. So I won't go down that road.
My main project that I want to do for Warhammer Fantasy, really, as I finish with this, I mean, I would really like to just work on High Elves because I did put a lot of effort into collecting.
Yeah, I remember
a lot
you
of
did
old stuff for that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
the Chaos. What's the Marauders?
Oh,
edition. Yeah.
Palmer, do you have you started on the High Elf army? I can't remember if I've seen videos ever. No.
Nope. It is like in a box, and it's funny. I'm looking at one of the last pieces I bought for it is painted, but I actually bought. No, it's painted. I'm going to strip it.
That's what I mean.
That's the last one that I kind of wanted to get for the most part. You could go forever with certain things, and there is like Maiden Guard, which are like more of a niche unit and kind of collectible to get for the High Elves. They were not always available, and they're kind of expensive. But I really, this was the last one because I have the Dragon Lord.
Yeah.
And then I wanted this, and then I can pretty much paint now, and not have to worry about getting anything for the most part.
Do you have the models all prepped?
Hey, Palmer, we can put that back up again.
Oh, sure. Sorry. What was that comment?
I was wondering, is this the only one you have to strip, or do you have a bunch of models that need prepped before you can start painting, or are you ready to paint?
It's a mixture. Okay. Like a lot of the basic because these are old, they're old models, but some of them are still the old first plastic kits. And so I have like a lot of new archers that have just never been painted that are plastic, but they're from they're the 2-person one that's from like 4th, 5th edition. I think they're 4th edition actually or something. But I have a lot of those. and they don't have to really be prepped other than just assembled and primed, you know. And then same with the spearmen. And then I have a lot of stuff that's unpainted, but I have some stuff that's definitely painted, and I even have some old stuff, like really like the original. I forget the name of them now because it's been so long since I looked into them and collecting them. But there's these. They're not the regular spearmen, but the ones that are the light riders. The
Reavers or something?
The Reavers, yeah. I have the original Reavers. Oh, I believe it's unless that's the Wood Elves, but I have the original. I think they're
High Elf Reavers. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the original models for them. I have the original High Elf Sorceress on Unicorn. I have I have the Pegasus Rider, I have the Dragon Rider. Like I have most of all the specialty.
I love the Dragon Knights. Is that what they're called? The Dragon?
Them. Yeah, I have the original. I have 2 generations of those. I have the 6th edition and the 3rd, 4th edition. I
like them both myself.
Yeah.
That's quite a collection. That's awesome.
I started out with like one big box. I got one big lot, and then I've just kind of added probably another equivalent amount.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at my 2 piles. I've got a pile of lizardmen and a pile of undead, and then my Bretonian pile is getting pretty. It's getting down there.
Yeah. It'll be nice.
Just reaching. It's like here's a bag of orcs. Most of these got cannibalized and turned into 40k orcs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, it's like all I did was I took their one arm off and gave them a bolt pistol or stubber, whatever. You need 200 Skaven.
Oh my god! Probably not.
It's like there's 6 rat ogres, 3 masters, warp flamethrowers, plague mortars, lords, engineers, 152 spearmen, 53 hand weapons with banners, and leaders.
Those are some pretty weak numbers there, Rusty, but that's okay. You got time.
I labeled it. This was all the stuff that came out of those box sets that the starter boxes.
Oh,
it's like 2 of us bought a starter box, and it's like, well, I don't want Skaven, so he gave me a Skaven. So it's like ended up a bunch of Skaven. So eventually, my plan was to build a Skaven army, and then 6th edition or 7th edition disappeared. So.
Man, I worry about you now, Rusty, because between your plastic, metal, and resin pile, I'm afraid for your life. If that thing shifts at all, you're done.
Yeah, you just gotta stack it just right. It's like sandbags.
Makes it stronger. Yeah, it's sort of like put some mortar in.
You gotta interlock them.
Yeah, like stacking bales in the barn, right?
Exactly. You always gotta make sure you put a fort in the middle someplace.
Their Barnes White is in the house. I don't know that. Do you know Barnes White? Am I an idiot? Maybe.
Pops in to our show every once in a while.
Okay.
I bought some Sons of Yamato Kickstarter intended using change command. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that, Bill. That is, I don't know if it just was running last week. Maybe it's just got done or it's still going on, but it's the complete. You can get basically everything you need for a World War II Japanese army, and I can't remember if they were STLs or metal. I remember looking at the Kickstarter. They nice sculpts. I'm not doing the Japanese. I gotta keep focused.
Yeah. Well, it's like I gotta finish my Brits, my airborne Brits.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Before I buy any more bolt action stuff, I just want to fill out my Americans with some stuff. I got to fill out my Russians with vehicles, that kind of thing. But
print those out. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much when it comes to those. Is just adding vehicles to those 2 armies. I need to add vehicles to my Brits when I get those finished painted. And then I got to eventually build a German bolt action army.
Speaking of bolt action, I got a question. Have either of you ever played the tank war rules for bolt action?
No.
I have them, but I've never played. I
was just curious.
El Cheapo on eBay one time, and mostly I got it because of the plastic model kits that come in it. It was like they were like 50% off or more, and the rules were free essentially. If the way it was priced, but that doesn't intrigue me too much.
Okay.
I always think bolt action's really just the basic bolt action game. It's about infantry, and that's where the game shines. Like
it's kind of a different game, though. I think it's kind of slightly different variant.
It is slightly different. So I mean, I haven't tried it, and I haven't really seen it played. So it always just
it never lasted, I guess, right? Because did they bring it into the second edition too?
It is second edition.
I got it during first edition.
I was gonna say I think I got mine was the first edition, and I'm not sure if it's still on their web store or no.
Yeah, maybe it
got
didn't
phased out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I have seen it now that you say that, but I don't think it really took off. So obviously it wasn't all the deal. Sounds like if you want to do that, like What a Tanker from Two Fat Lardies is maybe a pretty good system. I have watched some games of that, and it looks pretty fun.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know, Palmer, for sure.
I'd never seen it till it was a second edition.
Okay, yeah, no, it came out, but
then again, there's not much difference between first and second edition.
Very, very little. I remember like when you go down, I think like when you choose to go down, it's +2 instead of it used to be a +1 or something, and then use the templates for area effect, HE type, mortar hits, as opposed to it used to be like a certain inch mortar was 2d6 hits, and you roll the dice, see how many hits it did. Now you lay the template out, which people like. I understood not having the templates was cool. Who needs more stuff to like? Oh, I forgot mine, or I lost it, but I do really like how it makes you pay attention, because your tendency is to want to get them all bunched up to get them into the maximum close range, or to get them into the cover. But then you're risking the fact that if a mortar hits you, and in real life, that you would try to keep the guys spread out for that reason. So this forces you to try to remember to spread them out. And so I do like that. And there's very little argument, because it just, as far as who's under the template, I've never had trouble with that, even in tournaments.
Yeah.
And it's just some few odds and ends like that mostly. Oh, there's that snap 2 rule is kind of fun. You don't see it used very often, but yeah, very similar. If you play first edition, you could be right in there.
Let's see. So I'll have some BattleTech I'll trade for. Which ones that you would trade for? I just showed so many different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you want some of your Skaven or something.
Yeah. I have some Dark Elves and Skaven. Everybody seems to have something of the fantasy battles.
Yeah.
You guys have one-page rules for... Oh,
I've never used it. I mean, I know people that do. They say it does everything they want, and they have fun with it.
We've used it one-page rules for the sci-fi one, and they're not bad. But we never tried the fantasy. I have played tank war rules for bolt action using 15. Oh, that would actually work. That's actually a good idea.
It might actually even be better. Ranges they say would be better geared to 15 mil anyway.
Empire and Chaos.
Nice.
That you would trade.
Oh, that he'd trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I get some of this old Chaos stuff I probably would never see the light of day. So.
Well, gentlemen, we're almost there. Like 60 seconds. You guys can stay on if you guys are still got it in you, but I'm having to bolt.
I think I should too. We should probably keep it to the 2 hours, and I've got to go out and check critters too. So
I got a lot of done tonight.
Yeah, me too.
I'll probably be going to bed early since I have a long trip tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. Safe travels there.
Yeah, heading west to the mountains.
Get your cowboy hat on.
I haven't seen the mountains in a while.
Country. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Well, good. Yeah, I got some good painting done too. I think I got these guys basically ready for varnish. So that was nice. Accomplished.
See, I did some work. I have probably maybe half an hour more work on this ball crusher. I'd still have to do the bone on this guy, and a little touch up on the leathers, but he's about done.
Nice.
Won't be long. And then I'll just finish. Good.
Then I'll finish the base.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, gentlemen.
I think I'm going to launch too, guys. Thanks for. It's always fun, and I got some actual painting done tonight too. So that's 2 birds, 1 stone.
Painting and chatting and everything else that goes with it.
Absolutely, re-energized. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks for everybody being here too.
We'll see you in the next one in 2 weeks over at Palmer's channel.
See you, everybody.
All right. Take care, guys.
Night.
Bye.